It's me again, um, making another video here. It's the third one. Because I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my mind. I got a lot of ideas. Because I want to rebuild myself to be a more better person in life. So I'm appealing to you guys out there, all who hear me, to help me by giving me suggestions on what to do from here, how to fix the damages that I have caused, because I did cause a lot of damage. You know, in order to change yourself in life, sometimes you have to admit that everything that you do is not always done correctly. And I go based on what I think I know. I think that if I cuss back somebody, pull out a knife at them, tell them F off, I think that that is an effective way of letting them know how I feel. And it could be, I think it is wrong. But I don't have the all of the know-how and how to do deal with conflict resolution, how to you know deal with conflict without it becoming so broad and bad and to the point where people can see me as just this person that just out there causing problems, problem everywhere he goes. It's something. So since you all got all the talk in the world to tell me how bad I is, do any of you have any suggestions on how to be better? When I go into the bus terminal, I go on the bus and the bus driver gets angry and tell me, "You the boy that killed your mother. That is karma. You lost your leg. That's karma. Because karma is a bitch. You kill your mother, and nobody don't want it. Nobody don't like you." Can you tell me how to respond to that without getting hurt, without hurting first? If you could tell me how to respond to that, because ignoring don't always help. It doesn't. A person can only hold in so much. So if you could tell me how to deal with that, how to overcome that, that's one. That's question one. How to overcome when bus drivers and people tell me that I is the boy that killed my mother. Question number two. When people say you lost your legs as punishment, if you did do the right things, you wouldn't have lost your legs. If you did respect people, you wouldn't have lost your legs. God take away your legs for a reason. I don't know if it's true or not, but when somebody talks like that to me or around me, how do I respond? What's the most passive way to respond to that? That's question number two. Right? When I'm on the road and people throw bottles, garbage, whatever they have in their hands at me and hit me in my face, splash the water upon me, tell me move the F out the road. How do you respond to that? Can you tell me how to respond to that in a passive way without being so overly aggressive? Without feeling anything? If you could tell me that, then then I would understand that. I would like you to tell me that in the comments. Any negative comments, insulting comments will be deleted. The person will be banned from my channel. You can go and put it on Chase Files, Naked Departure, and other places that will accept negativity. But this channel is not for that. When people tell me that my mother left things in the house for me, left things in the house and I tell them I sell them. You know, tell them how I supposed to eat, cause I didn't get no welfare. I didn't get welfare right away. It took a long time before I was on welfare. So, you're in a house. Yeah, in a house. You don't have a stove or you don't have a fridge. You don't have. You only have the bed, and you don't have no income. Tell me what should I have done better to keep my stuff? Come on. So tell me what I should have done better. Because the same my mother left things. My mother did acquire things in this house. A living room set, a TV that was broken. I had lines going across it. We had Wi-Fi in here. We had one or two appliances that were used that was given to us. Then people didn't want none no more. Yeah. We had a washing machine that was rusty. So we did have some basic things. Old things, but basic things. Then I went following my family and they tell me the bank will come attack the house. The bank will come attack everything. I sold and gave away what I had in the house. And I was renting and living with my dad. Under my dad was paying the rent. When he was paying the rent, he was also sending me threatening messages telling me if I don't find a job by 3 months he will stop paying the rent. So I was under a lot of pressure to find work, and my feet were giving me problems slowly at that time. But he didn't know, and I didn't know that my feet was reaching a point where it was bad, getting bad. I was staying in a place in Whitehall. I ain't telling you the location, but it's somewhere in Whitehall. I don't know if it's Whitehall number 1, 2, or 3. And if I know, yeah, I ain't saying. But I was saying it's Whitehall. It was fairly alright. But then, when my father keep coming in the island unexpectedly, I turned up at my place and getting on aggressive to me, and everything I tell him, he playing back the voice notes and telling the landlord. So if the landlord doing something that bothering me, and I tell him, he's playing back the WhatsApp notes to the landlord and cause strife. The landlord had children, and her children used to sit down by the door where I was going and out and smoke marijuana cigarettes, and the smoke used to come in the house. And I didn't like it. I did not agree with it. And I was not accustomed to that type of behavior. Right? I've never been around people that smoke these illegal things because when the police ready to raid some place, I ain't getting in the middle of it. And I didn't like it. And I told him about it, and he went and told them. And then eventually, over a couple of days, it started to get worse with the arguing and the back and forth. And then me and him wasn't agreeing because of how the attitude he would come there with. And I stopped eating food from them and stuff like that. Hey, anyhow, that's all in the past. I don't really want to relive it. I don't remember everything that happened. I don't want to relive it. Anyhow, I came back to my mom's house after I had a lot of problems with him. And then everywhere he put me was a problem. I was in the psychiatric hospital then because I fought with the police. And I ended up down there. And I was held in there for 3 months. Um, because he was promising to put me in a room somewhere else. And he put me from out of the fire out of the frying pan into the fire. Because he put me with another set of dysfunctional family up in Bourne's village. And this girl at that house, no tenant have ever lived a year in that house because there's always some kind of discord and problems. Anyhow, I moved back into this house, and when I moved back into this house, I had no light. People came into this house when I was not able to get here. They took off door frames. They took out light sockets, stuff like that. And I cleaned up this house with some help over time. And here's where I am today. I regretted that I sold the furniture primarily because I thought the bank would have come and taken the house from me. But I didn't understand about insurance and the process that they would have to go through, which is a long process to get you out of the house. Right? So I didn't know that. I thought they could come, change the locks and throw out the door at the same time. But I didn't know that it was a procedure in how they do things. And, that we all feel would have find some place for me. So that's how I ended up with all my furniture gone. Over time, I got back stuff slowly. And not too long was able to get a washing machine. And not too long was able to do little things to the house. I get help from a guy at church who has helped me with the grass and give me money sometimes. I gotta get the plumbing sorted out. And so far I haven't been fortunate not to have any break-ins because there ain't nothing to break in the TCTV and they're not talk, but that's basically it. So that's how I live in right now. People always tell me that my mother left things for me, left things in this house. My mother struggled a lot because I wasn't working. And she used to have like $1,200 after the mortgage was taken out. And we were renting, and the rent was $800 a month. So then that's about $400 for two of us to survive for bus fare, groceries, and so on. Right? So we was always in a position where you know, he was always low for money. And it used to hurt me because it was I am such an awkward person in uh, my behavior and the way I am that people would hesitate to give me a job. But any job I did, I never was fired from any job. Any job I did, most of the jobs I walked off eventually. I never was fired from any job that I can recall. Um, but I just want some people to give me some advice on what you think needs improving in my life based on how you see me out in society, and give me some tips on in my comments on what you would like me to focus on and work on. I can't please everybody, even if um, even if it comes to the point where I change the most pressing things. It could always be something that I do that will offend somebody because I don't. I just keep it real, right? I just keep it real. And if you gonna curse me, I'm gonna tell you off. If you're gonna insult me, I will tell you back off too, if I choose to. Right? I've reached a point now where I just don't really even talk to people. Some people ask, "How you doing?" And this one answer. Pretend I don't exist because I just don't want my conversation a lot of long talk with nobody anymore. Maybe that's contribute to me losing friends and people losing interest in me. But it's okay. So this is my appeal to you all, whoever this video goes out to. Tell me in the comments what you think I should do to make my life and to make life better. What improvement should I focus on? What should I observe? And those who want to tell me that I use my disability for sympathy for people, that is not true. I struggle on my own and I refuse help on purpose for that very same reason. Sometimes people give me money and I don't even accept it. Sometimes people get out the car when they see me on the road and I tell them, don't help me, I good. Because I don't want nobody to ever say or come to the conclusion that I do things to get attention and make myself look weak and vulnerable so people can feel for me. 'Cause I don't want it. I don't want people to feel for me. I don't want it. Cause your pity, your sorrowful feeling don't help me. It don't help me with my challenges. It don't help improve my life in no form or fashion. All it does is it may or may not make you want to give me a hug. It may or may not want you to um, talk to me a little softer. But I don't need to go to my way for people to love me and like me. There are people out there who really like me, you know. They are attracted to my what's the right word? My outward talk or outgoing behavior when I really like to talk, you know. And Here's some good things about that I like to do. I like to make people laugh. Saddle title lesson. Sometimes that's when I like I say, look how you gone there and hit my toe into the door and I ain't got my feet. And they laugh. I like to make people laugh. I like to tell people good things too. You know, I ain't all bad. I ain't all bad. I ain't all bad as people think. You know, I do make people laugh. I do make people think. But when they gotta get down to brass tacks and be serious and cuss you or tell you something, I can tell you. But that don't mean I can't be friends with you. That I don't want your friendship. That I want your kindness. A lot of people stop talking to me. But when I first lost my legs, I was I gained a lot of attention. A lot of people stopped talking to me. I was to get accustomed to seeing me on the road and me going out and police telling me you shouldn't be outside unless you're going to a doctor's office. And they said, oh, why not? I still want to go outside every day. It's my choice, you know. So once you go against what people think is not normal or not right, then you will be left alone. Because people can say that this is what you're doing is wrong. And their mind, they think it is wrong. But it's all good because I ain't breaking the law. I'm breaking the law in their mind that they have made. So I answer those questions for me, and then don't tell me that you know everything you gotta respond to. And first impressions make a lot of difference. Sometimes first impressions do make a big difference, yes. Sometimes you gotta ignore what people say. But it gets to you though. It messes you on psychological level. Especially when you are disabled. You don't understand that there's a difference between a disabled person and a regular person. Other than just the physical removal of the leg, the arm, the toe, or whatever. There's a lot of emotion and psychological things that go on. A lot of fears that plague your mind, especially when you're by yourself. Ain't nobody don't check for you. Be wondering, it's supposed to fall down here, no. I can't call nobody. You know, what happens if I get old and I can't go down the road in my chair anymore like I used to? I can end up in a home. I can end up in a geriatric hospital. I can end up in a psychiatric hospital. I can end up in some kind of institution where I ain't gonna live my life happy. You know, all those things just happen to, you know, play on your mind. But, you know, when you tell somebody that the disrespectful, they got a lot of attitude, or you tell them that that's the way you lost your foot, you killed your mother and things. It's hurt you, it's cut you deep. Because you're dealing with the transition from becoming able-bodied to disabled. You're dealing with the shame of facing society with the two stumps on your leg. You're dealing with the effort to get the prosthetic legs, to get the sponsorship for the prosthetic legs. You're dealing with people that just do not like people who are disabled. Period. Because they look deformed and different, and they don't like you just because you are deformed and different. You don't look like a human. You know? So there are many different psychological, non-violent, non-physical things that go through the mind of a disabled person. And if you got a bad reputation before you lost your leg, your hand, or whatever, boy, you got that psychological transformation plus your reputation. You know, people say, well, he legs, he did this, he did that, he did third. They could tell you everything you do bad, things that you can't even remember. You know, they got some people that it's telling me that I was a demon all the time. They always tell me so. You know, the other day I was on the Bayfield bus coming home. They said, "Why you cursing, Pastor?" I said, "Because he called me a demon." And the man laughed. I said, "Well, everybody know you's one." I didn't want to cuss him by this, you know, because I should. When he asked me, so knowing the type of person he is, I should have kept my mouth shut. So I went and tapped out. But guess what? I went home and I cried because I feel bad. I feel real bad. When people insult me, right, and say things about me, I feel bad. You know, especially when you ain't getting, when things ain't going right for you on that day, it feels so bad, like a loser. Like if your life has no ultimate significance. And it's before a moment. It's before a moment, but eventually you overcome it. You pick up yourself and perk back up. Because I have that ability to perk back up. Yeah, some people not flat down with the insults. Not flat down with the neglect. But just perk back up and just go again. It tells, oh, go tell you listen. Something like that, make them laugh, and then they laugh back at you, you know? And then, you know, you make them have a good day. You know, I go in the stores, I talk with the girls. Most of the time it's with the girls. You know, I talk with them. They laugh and smile with me. They open the door for me. They be kind to me. More women have been kind to me than men. You know? And sometimes it makes you feel good that somebody opened a door for you. Sometimes it makes you feel good that somebody pull over in the car to help you, if they can help you. Man, they got a lot of different mixture of people in Barbados. Not everybody hate me. Not everybody would have something negative to say. But I posted this video and I was on it a little bit long. My videos are usually 10 to 20 minutes. So I try to say a little bit. So if you could answer those questions that I asked in the middle of the beginning of the video, in my comments on YouTube, then I can read them and then I can learn what affects people the most and try to work on it to change it to be better, for the better. Everybody could change. Nobody ain't too far gone to be changed. My father said I too far gone to be changed. You said that already. You said it to many people, but I want to show that I can change. I don't need to go to the doctor, a psychiatrist, a counselor to tell me what I need to know. You know? So tell me in the comments, and we're gonna go on from there. those who willing to help me by advising me and giving me comments and telling me what to work on and how to work on it and stuff like that. I don't mind you all contacting me and messaging me and telling me that, but all those who want to come on negative things, don't let the wheelchair fool you. What being in a wheelchair is for you? You think that I got my legs hiding my back? You think I got my legs hiding somewhere that? Think? So when the top will don't let the wheelchair fool you. I don't know what I mean by that. Don't let my disability fool you. That is make people feel sorry for me. It's good to have compassion on people who are broken. I am broken physically and I am broken emotionally. I ain't get over the loss of my mother. I ain't get over the loss of my legs. And maybe, yes, when I cursed the nurses, I think maybe it was out of frustration. But some of them has provoked me to the point where I retaliated like that. I don't ever come into a hospital or any institution and just get on. If somebody tell me something that frustrates me, especially when they're having a bad day, you will get cursed. It's a natural response. As a human, you don't say about crying to get sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I want respect and kindness. I want when people see me on the road that they see me as a human being and not just a thorn in the flesh. You know? So, Mrs. G, or Mrs. J, I don't know what your name begins with. I love you. I didn't get to mention in the other video. But whoever Mrs. G know who Mrs. G is, or Mrs. J. I think it's G or J. But whoever out there, Mrs. G or Mrs. J, they know who I mean. I love you still. I always did. I always had a lot of respect for you. In all the years I've been in the group and seen you, you know, I have always admired your bravery for coming out. Your bravery for talking to me and treating me the same, even though sometimes I may say or act a way that ain't right. You just always treat me the same. And Mrs. M out there, I recently started talking to. Enough love and respect.